Hello and welcome to a Saturday edition of Big Scott 35. Little chat about the week there was, and what's going on now, and what the week in the present and the week will be. Uh, so, real quick, because I got a lot to talk about. Kind of been not putting this off, but getting my thoughts together. I don't really script things. I do bullet points. I didn't write them down, but I think I'll be all right. But to start off Sunday, another great Sunday night. My Sunday night shows, I know they're my shows, and I'm a little biased. But most of the time, they're bangers. I mean, if you're new to my channel, I know it's a long show. We went hour and a half. It's Snoop, somebody has been out of our community for a little bit, but he'll pop up every now and again with Nate and Aaron, and he'll do his own stuff. He said he's going to try to get back into it. He's a busy man, busy work. He fishes. He's semi-pro fisherman. That's his, big hobby. Great boat, fishing rods. But he loves this hobby as well. He's like me. He's got multi things. Well, my multi things will take me out of my house. So I he's a busy guy, man of many, many things, many talents. Had a great discussion with him. We went a little over. We were having some difficulties at the beginning. So we went over, but it's a good listen, something to do while you're, clicking on when you're driving or sorting cards, cleaning house. I don't care. Just, something to have on in the background. It's a good listen. Then Monday with my dad, we're getting some traction with that. More and more viewers. We just talk baseball. It's no cards. If it is, it's by accident. But we just talk baseball. It's our weekly, pretty much being his discussion. And we pick a team and we dive into the history. He loves it. I love the history too. Love learning things I didn't know about. And we're getting some traction with that. Wednesday showed some great PC cards. Another great care package from Three River. I saw the one you sent to Mike O as well. He just knocked it out of the park. You were hoping I didn't have that Bowman Sterling. After it took me a minute to research it, then he sent me the notice, and I was like, yeah, that. Whew. And then on top of that, the Micah. Man, way and beyond, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope your hockey season's going well. Let's see. A lot of Mets in that, but that's the way it goes. Pete, David Wright. But it's just more like how I'm collecting now. That Wednesday, after the National, I'll probably buy a little bit more. I think this week the only thing that I purchased was on Topps.com. I take that back. I added some. I finished the 80s in my Mets collection. Wasn't hard. I think I spent $11, and most of that was in shipping to get the cards I needed. I think the most expensive card I got was 22 cents. Just things to fill out the run, the flagship. So I'll do I haven't done a 70s. I did my 60s. I need to do 70s, and then I can do the 80s when I get those cards in. And that was on Sport Lots. I use Sport Lots for that. Just a lot easier. I can do one bulk purchase. A little bit easier for me than going anywhere else and trying to pick up cheap cards just to fill a collection that, a run that I'm doing. A little bit different when I start going to short prints and stuff when I hit the 2000s, but, whatever. Let's see. And I don't know how hard I'll go after those. If they're still way expensive, I'll just have a blank in that spot for a while. I just can't see overbuying for players just because it's a short print over purchasing. I got to get my caffeine. Thursday, Nerdy Thursday, had some great pickups, talked about gaming. You know, summer in the nerdverse is pretty big. You get blockbuster movies, you get TV shows, you know. Let's see, some, gaming. I talked about a couple of gaming, Nintendo Direct and some other stuff. So if you have any interest in that, that'll probably be a good spot to check out. And then let's see, and then I did a special on Friday, one off. Usually Friday is my day off. Tuesday and Fridays. Mike says I do a video every day, not quite. Tuesdays and Fridays are my days off. And if I don't have something to do a video, I don't. But JD challenged me, and then I turned around and I challenged Mike O, Dave Midlife Card Crisis, and Wesker Griff on why you collect and who do you collect. I think I got a little sappy, a little emo, as Carlos would say. I hope Carlos, this is one I hope Carlos doesn't watch because he'll probably make fun of my emo ways. But anyway, it was fun to introspect why I collect who I collect. And let's see. So that leads to today. So today I want to talk about, let's see. First, the CSG. Somebody called it a self merger. So here we have CSG, who I praise them. A little bit of a fanboy, but I'm not. I'm realistic. This is my PC stuff, stuff that it might even be sold or I need to hold value. I go to CSG. It's some of the bigger stuff. Still go to PSA because you kind of have to. I mean, as much as I hate PSA, if you want to get the most out of your stuff. So, and also I've shown it before. I have a great rookie collection of Pete Alonso tops, 475, and I would like to keep them in PSA. I have them. That's where I started. So I got a nice little display of that. So CSG will become CGC. What does that mean? The sports and non-sports are merging together. For some reason, they were separate. When I first started, they only did TCG, and they only did Pokemon and not Yu-Gi-Oh, but I can't think of the other one. And that was for a while. And then they quietly added Marvel. But they did send out an email, but they never really sent out a thing when they expanded to everything, almost everything. There's like a few things they still don't. But this is what they should have done from the beginning. I didn't understand this part of it. But what for us on the sports side of it, but this, I do a lot of non-sports. I was about to send an order to the non-sports side. I had to do a bulk item. You had to do two separate bulks, so I couldn't mix sports and non-sports. So now the way it's reading, and I'm kind of waiting till it officially happens. Now I can make one order with both, right? So that is great for somebody like me. I have somewhere else to send my non-sports, not just SGC. Which SGC, I do like them, but I don't like the fact that their holder is so big, and the clear holder to me is superior to the black. That card just hanging there in the air is beautiful to me. So this is the problem. And they're saying this is going to make them the second largest grader out there, which probably so, because people in the sport world, I guess, don't understand that they've been around for a while at CGC, and they grade video games, comic books, magazines, VHS. They are world-renowned currency. I think they're the number one currency. I forget which C whatever they are for that. But these blue labels is what they had for their non-sport stuff, right? And they did their grading scale was a little different and things like that. Well, they're changing their grading scale in the non-sport to match what they're doing in sports, and they're changing the flip to that. And I agree. Me and Bobbles talked. This is, and also they talked about this on Carlos's channel last night. I do agree. When they do this, charging $5 to have your flips changed is a little ridiculous. And me and Bobbles talked about this on him while he's showing cards the other night. He brought up a great thing. Like, are you worried that CSG in a decade or whatever, people won't know who they are, new people, which makes them dead slabs. For me personally, because it's for my PC collection, it's not resale. I'm not really worried about that. Most of them are not fetching a lot of money on the market, unless somebody goes off, one of the players. But I'm not really worried about that. I didn't change when they flipped from the green, when they switched the green flip to this new flip, which I love. Yeah, it looks kind of GMA-ish, but I don't care. It's not GMA. I really fell in love with this whole dynamic. They have great graders, great background. They're world renowned in other non-sports. And I think, again, Bob's winning. Could this be a momentum killer? I don't know. I know there's a lot of rumbling because Pokemon cards, this is behind PSA. I think this was the second most graded Pokemon cards, and they get really good value on the market. So they're keeping a CGC name, but they're changing the flip. Now, I think whatever they're acting, I think people in that era I don't think they need to change their flips. People understand the blue flip. The only reason you do is if you're anal about your collection and you want all the flips to match. I can agree on that at once. I just stated I like my PSA Pete's, but if it's not that 475 image or has something to do with it, I send it to CSG because it's my PC. I don't think Pete is somebody that even if you switch teams, I think I'll still follow him. I like Pete that way. I played first in my end of my baseball career, which was high school. So that I really, really do think I'll follow him. But for somebody else like Mike Trout, or let's see, some of my bigger Pete's that are non-that, I've sent to PSG or SGC. Now SGC, I do send stuff if I think I'm going to sell it or whatever, or it could be sold because I want it to have value. I mean, it's not PSA value still, but it still has a value. So new hat trying to break in. Got my July 4th Mets cap. July 4th, just a couple weeks away. I missed out on the military hat they had for servicemen. That one, man, that thing's sold quick. It was I just tried to go on a week later to my next payday, and my size was gone. I don't know, everywhere. But anyway, back to this. So my whole feeling is I don't think it's going to hurt all that bad, and I think in the long run of it, it's going to help. It's going to bring more to their brand, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm waiting to see pricing, because I don't think they really touched on pricing. because right now the two are different prices. Non-sports are $15 bulk, and sports are $12 bulk. Uh, so I'm waiting to see what that's going to do. And it does read in here, and I need to read back through it again about something about not having to be in there. I pay a yearly thing like $25 or whatever, so I can get the bulk, which is nothing. Uh, but down here they're going to have their pristine, which I don't agree with this on any level with anybody. You have a 10 and then you have another 10. It always makes me, uh, you're put it to 11. I don't understand that. Um, I have yet to see a pristine CSG. I own a pristine SGC card, one out of all the ones I've sent in. Uh, but yeah, this is a game changer for them, and I just think, uh, I, you know, I really do. They should have done this from the beginning. I didn't understand when at first that was my one questioning at the beginning is why they didn't put the two together to begin with, and I just think it was a missed opportunity. They made a mistake with the grading at the beginning. Everybody questioned it. It makes sense. Why would you go with Beckett when everybody SGC, the 9.5 for them carries so much weight in the resale market? My buddy JD, which I'll talk to you about later, always praising the 9.5s. So I think this was a good play, and only time will tell. I think whenever you make a change, there's going to be a lot of grumbling. Uh, Mike asked me if I'm going to switch my. No, it just why it. Bobbles has asked me. I just don't see. For me, if I was going to sell a card or something in it, I was going to sell. I would probably do it if it made if the cents made dollars. If it was cents to it, I would probably do that. A little something on my brim. Uh, I don't think that I will right now. I don't see any reason. Like I said, they're all in my PC. I just don't see any reason for it. Now to go into the next thing, which I have some deep feelings on. And also, a lot of people speaking on something they probably don't have a lot of background in or understanding in causing stirring the pot, and not really having an understanding of what's going on. Carlos talked in depth on it last night, and they brought up some great subject matter on it. I chimed in. I thought about joining them, but I knew I was going to do this today, and that's the Fanatics trying to rule the world, as everybody's saying. And I put on there, I don't understand when all these people during the pandemic and before, all we're on the news. That's making our hobbies making headlines in regular news, and they're making TV shows, and we're coming mainstream. We don't have to stay in our basements anymore and hide our stuff. Well, this is what mainstream looks like, people. That to me, you want it mainstream, but you want it to work status quo as it always done. Well, Fanatics sells shoes and clothing. And for somebody that worked in that field managed a Champ Sports for 6.5 years, understands 100% where they're coming from. I had to, for me to manage a Champ Sports, Nike made champs for all their managers. Had to go to Nike University to learn all about the Nike. We by the end of the day, I designed my own Nike shoe. I had all the parts out there. I knew I learned more than I ever thought what Nike Air means uh, to if it says Nike Air on it, what it means, or if it said something else on it, what it meant. Uh, it was right at the beginning of the Jumpman stuff. I I just and they made we had how we displayed our shoes, when we sold them, how much we sold them, where the displays were in our stores. Adidas had the same thing. Oakley was bad when an Oakley rep came by. They were now I did get free Oakleys out of it, but I never got free Nikes. But you know, we had. But let me tell you, when they said a shoe sold on a certain day, that's the day that shoe sold. We might have them in the back room earlier, and I know somebody that sold them and got fired, no questions asked. Because I used to have guys that, it's prestigious to get those shoes early. Come on, man, let me get them. And I'm like, are you going to pay my salary for the rest of my life after I get fired? Because you get offered money and it sound good at the moment. But man, if you got fired, that money didn't last very long, and so, I had a friend that happened to, and everybody's like, are they going to send out representatives? I think they will, but mostly it's going to be a self-regulated thing. So you're going to have if a store, like in Nike wouldn't find out about it until, say, a Foot Locker, which Foot Locker is owned by Champs, by the same people, same company owns both, or one of the other shoe companies, and they would rat them out. Or then this was before social media. Now, man, people can't be quiet on social media. So they'll just, watch key tag phrases and hashtags out there. And they have a social media group at Fanatics. I'm sure they do, because they have a whole thing about, their social media. They're going to look at it. And guess what? When you apply for a job, one of the first things that your employer looks at, your social media. And that's what these car shops are doing. They're applying to be a part of Fanatics family, to have a relationship with them, to partner with them, to be part of Fanatics. So when you walk in and you see a Fanatics, we are official Fanatics, not our Tops, and then future Panini, which you're going to see down the road. They're just laying all this out. And then they don't want these stores to cross over into what they want to do. They're going to have their own Breakers channel. They're going to be live sales online. They want the stores to sell to the people in the stores and do it in a right manner, to hold the integrity of their stuff. I've said this a million times on this channel. Tops treated their product like it was still a candy company. I don't know how much money they made, but they made enough money. I mean, they went public, or was going public, be a public traded company, and was still treating it like a candy company. This is stuff that Tops should have done, because Tops is synonymous to Nike. Now, there's one brother on the news, that radio, whatever. There's two brothers. That one guy's so infatuated with Rolex watches. Okay, I understand you got one. Congratulations. It's not quite that, but it is. They're setting guidelines and restrictions and things they want to do. Fanatics has all the leverage. They can do this. And this is commonly done in a retail. It's done in grocery stores. So when you see Pepsi buys end caps. I worked at a grocery store for my high school and college years. Every July 4th and Memorial Day, Pepsi would pay for one of us at the grocery store to do nothing but fill their display cases. They kept the truck out in the parking lot, and that's what I did. Once I started doing it, I did it every time. It was easy money. I worked a lot of hours, but it was easy money. I didn't have to worry about nothing else but other than keep the Pepsi display out there, all of our displays full. So, and I mean, I was the Swiss Army knife at my grocery store. So I did everything. But when I was on that and they found out, I went up front to work the one of the cash registers when they got packed, they would take the money away and then make them pay me. That didn't happen. I was working for Pepsi. And that was it. And I loved it. Uh and that's what's going to happen. And like the question came up was what are they going to do in the retail space because they have these companies that come in and set up the displays. Well, Walmart and Target will just start doing it, just like they do the candy or whatever at the registers or whatever aisle it's on. Um, Fanatics will distribute to one of their distribution centers whatever their allotment is, and then they'll distribute it to their stores on the Target trucks, which they're doing now. But that other company comes in and sets up displays. Well, now the Walmart and Target guys, so Walmart and Target can make the people Fanatics pay a little extra for the area they're going to use because now their people are going to have to set up the display. That's all that's going to happen. And that'll keep to me, I've heard a lot, oh, this is going to kill card shops. I don't think so. I think it's going to help card shops. It's going to put them all on an even playing field. But it's also opening up a door. Fanatics, who also sell sports stuff, clothes, memorabilia, and everything else, for these shops, a lot of shops don't only sell cards. I've talked to several, and I'm going to be interviewing one here. I got to just set it up. That sell more than cards because the other stuff pays the light bill. The cards are just extra. They have to sell memorabilia and the tchotchkes of the sports stuff for people. You know, a lot of times they're the only ones around that sells that stuff. So it's, they come in, you buy a Virginia sticker, and then, you buy some cards. It's just, they have to have that other stuff. Well, guess what? Fanatics sells that stuff. They also sell shirts. So you better believe you're going to probably start seeing clothing in some of these card shops. Whatever Fanatics salesperson could probably try to sell to them, they are going to be selling. And I think working straight with Fanatics instead of through a distributor who makes the choice of who gets the product is going to be an issue. And they're going to have an agreement with their breakers. And I think the breakers are all going to be on their channel. I don't think you're going to see other breakers, but you're going to probably see stores that are going to apply to be, a breaker. And having breaks in your store is it's something they used to do before the internet. Why are people getting upset about this? I don't understand. And you have to be present. It's keeping the integrity of the product. That's all it's doing. Now, once it gets to eBay and all that, let it do what it wants to. But they're trying to keep the integrity. They're going to tell the store owners, this is what you're going to sell it at. When they drop the price, they'll tell them when to drop the price. I am almost certain in my mind that you're going to stop seeing pre-orders. That pre-orders are going to be things of the past. You're already seeing that they're holding the pre-orders. They're not doing it 6 months ahead of time. They're keeping it close to the vest a week before, whatever. They're already releasing them like their shoes. I've already noticed this. It's a lot of resemblance to when I worked at retail, Champ Sports. I really do. And they have them, and they have the lids, locker room. I have one here. It's a double-sided end cap. They don't keep up with it, and I guarantee you that's going to change. And I think it's going to take more. They're going to put more space in those because now they're the tops. I've made this remark this year that their product seems to had a step up this year. I haven't had much negative to say about their product. I think their high end stuff's too expensive. I don't really know what's the benefit of opening it. We become collecting boxes instead of the cards. I don't like that. I wish they would come back down to, we were talking like I remember when I first got back into it and found like I love museum and it was like 235, 240. Yeah, for having what 3 or 4 boxes in there and you get a hit in every one of them, a couple of autographs, a couple of memorabilia, some numbered stuff. To me, it was very fun and exciting to open that. But I can't do that at $400-500. The entertainment value is gone, and I don't understand. And that to me, I think they're missing the boat. Hopefully, that is fixed. But to me, I know I'm rambling, and I just wanted to hit on this is in a retail world. This is common. This is a very common thing. I mean, I don't the stirring the pot and everybody freaking out, telling Fanatics is telling stores how they have to run their stores. No, they're telling them how they have to sell their product. And guess what? They're the only, Upper Deck does the same thing. They're just not as strenuous. They're just not as strict. As Blowout, if Upper Deck doesn't have rules, go right now and see if there's a something coming out in hockey, and see if they're doing pre-sales or could tell you the price because they got in trouble for not following Upper Deck rules. So there's rules out there. It's just now because it's Fanatics and everybody's already feeling like they're got a monopoly, which I don't understand. Topps had a monopoly in baseball for years. But Fanatics is running this the way Topps should have. They're smart. Why not have a one-stop shop? Why not have control over what people that are selling your product, that are partnering with you to sell the product, and put rules in place so it's not crossover into what Fanatics wants to do. And they'll have rules in place for breaking and all that stuff. But maybe this will, I think this is the whatnot killer. I think, I hope they got enough Pops people and other people doing it. I think this is, people can still go to the retail store and buy boxes and boxes of, blasters and all this other stuff and do eBay breaks all they want to. But my one question is going to be, what does this do to David Adams, Blowout, Steel City? How they do it? Because it stately says you have to have a brick and mortar. And that's what Upper Deck did, to Blowout. So, I mean, I think they all do, but they all sell online as well. And that was the part of it. I was like, okay, now what? If you're going to get an allotment and you can't sell online because Fanatics is going to sell on their distribution page. So they're going to have their own page where, just like Topps, might probably be still Topps.com, but they're going to sell it. And they can. And I don't know if that's 100% a bad thing because now they control it. They can control how many boxes people buy. And then if Blowout and them don't sign the agreement, they can buy as many boxes as they want, I guess, or however they get the sapphires and all these ones are supposed to be 1 or 2 per customer, and they get cases of it. However, they're doing that. They can still do that and up the prices there. They can still put bounties out at shows for buying boxes and all that stuff. There's going to be ways, and just like Bobble said, people will figure out the loopholes. They'll get around the loopholes. They always do. But I feel like this is going to help the small shop owners. Now they can interact one-on-one with Fanatics. Now, Fanatics might have a minimum that you have to purchase, and it might have where if you buy this, you have to buy shirts or lanyards or something else, tchotchkes, whatever. But it's interesting. I can't wait till it starts. The freak out to me has just been ridiculous this week. There is area for concern. There always is. I'm not saying there's not. But for somebody that did do my time in retail and grocery stores, this is not crazy to me. It's just not. So that's all I got to say on that. I know it's long-winded. This is going to be a very long video, and I'm sorry about that. So next is, tomorrow night, I'll be coming on an hour late, a little bit due to our weekend of Hobby Palooza. And then which tonight looks like I'll be on with Myko. I think it'll be me, him, Ed, maybe Ed, Dave. He put it out to everybody in our house that's going to the show. Other than that, I think it's 8:00 tonight on Bench Clear. I'll be on there. I don't know what capacity, how long, whatever Mike wants from me. Then tomorrow night I'll have JD and Omar, Retro Hoops Collectibles, Car Hedger podcast, I should say. Very good podcast. Y'all should check it out. I'll put links tomorrow night. I'll have them on at 9, partly to fit their schedule, but also Hobby Palooza. And then same as usual, Monday with my dad, to Wednesday, showing off SGC, and I might have CSG as well. Been waiting on that to come in. I know this is another time I sent in a CSG, and when I get it back, they changed the flips on me. This is twice. They've done it twice. This is twice it's happened. And then Thursday, Nerdy Thursday. On Thursday, Nerdy Friday. And then, back to Saturday. So looking forward to another big week. I start work back Monday, 4 weeks. And then I'm on vacation to go to the National. So hopefully it's a quick 4 weeks. So thanks for hanging in there with me. Not really a rant today, just more of I don't know, putting out a perspective of somebody that's kind of dealt with similar situation. And that's it. So until next time, like, share. Oh, give me that. I like it or dislike it. Just thumb me. Share with a friend. Please subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're feeling on all these little changes, big changes. So until next time, see ya.